today. Giving a brief introduction about Meenakshi ma'am. It's always a pleasure to introduce a person who is so approachable, so compassionate, and so kind. We know each other since past, I guess, 1.5, 2 years, right, ma'am? If I'm correct. Okay. So just to give a quick short brief about Dr. Meenakshi Upadhyay. Basically, a person who has more than 16 years of teaching experience. It will be very unfair for me to give a brief introduction per se, because her journey, her experience has been so long. But yet, I will try my best to give you all a brief idea about her background. So she has close to 16 years of teaching and administration experience, especially in media education. Right now, she is working as an associate professor with ASCO, Amity University. She has been working in several prestigious institutes like Wellington Institute of Management Development and Research, where she was working as an associate professor. Her core areas are public relations, corporate communication, advertising, communication research, media management, and many other subjects which are related to communication and media studies. In fact, she was even previously working with ASCO. She took a small break, and then she also was working with a prestigious institute like Whistling Woods. We all know, which is run by Subhash Ghai and his daughter, a very renowned film and media school in Mumbai. And she was working as an assistant professor at the Department of Communication and Journalism with the University of Mumbai. In fact, at University of Mumbai, she was basically teaching MA in a public relation program in the department. In fact, she got the doctorate itself from the University of Mumbai. She has presented and published several research papers pertaining to public relations, new media in national as well as international conferences. She has also completed public relation projects with companies and agencies, and she has even experience in training and publicity. Thank you so much, ma'am. We would like you to speak a few words before we begin the technical session.
Thank you, Geeta and Rashmi, for inviting me to this conference. I'm so looking forward to listening to the research papers. I was just going through the abstracts, and the topics are very interesting and so current and relevant to the current scenario that we are into. So yes, really looking forward to the conference.
Thank you so much, ma'am. All right, we will begin now. I am switching off my video right now so that there is less use of bandwidth.
Yes.
Now I will read out the participants list. The first one is Angel Felsi and Remila Jain. Can you all unmute and please confirm, are you all there in the meeting? Angel ma'am, are you here?
Welcome to VoiceOver. VoiceOver speaks descriptions of items on the screen and can be used to control the computer using.
Ma'am, we'll do one thing. We will begin with the participants who are already here, and then we will go on to the participants who join late. Is that okay, Meenakshi ma'am?
Absolutely.
Okay, now we have do we have Dr. Rachita here?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
1 second. One second, ma'am.
Sure.
I'll just give you the control so that you can share the screen.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I have made you the presenter. You can start sharing your screen, ma'am.
Okay.
Rachita ma'am, can you switch on your video, please?
Video is on.
All right, yeah, we can see you.
So I'm trying to share.
Yeah. Ma'am, just click on that, there is share content just close to the mic option. Just click there.
I did.
You did that. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just waiting. The circle is moving right now.
All right. All right.
Still uploading.
Ma'am, keep it on, just open and keep the PPT ready and then share
PPT
it, I guess.
PPT is ready.
I guess maybe in a minute you will be able to share.
It's taking time to upload. That's the only thing.
Achha. Do you want me to share, ma'am? If it's taking time?
Yeah, sure. You can share it.
Just a second, I'm just opening it. Just tell me, I will navigate, ma'am, but you just tell me where to pause and everything, right? You give me the instructions. Yeah.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, the PPT is with me, ma'am.
Okay.
Just a second. Ma'am, is it visible to you right now?
Yeah, it's visible.
It's visible. I'll just put it on the slide slow mode. Yeah, you can start.
Okay, so I would like to thank the entire team for allowing me to present my paper here. The name of my paper is about, it's basically was impact of online teaching. It's a study on Delhi University students and senior secondary students are also involved. Can we move to the next slide?
Yes. Ma'am, can you see the slide now? I've changed it. You are not able to see?
No, दिख रहा है.
दिख रहा है?
मैम आपको पता है ना कंटेंट, आप बोलते जाओ. हमको दिख रहा है. We have changed it. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, done. Okay, so basically the paper was made in order to understand whether there is any impact of online teaching on students, specifically towards their health or maybe mental issues, if they are facing any, and of course to understand whether they are able to get that kind of interactivity that should be initiated or should be there with the e-learning or online teaching. So we have seen, because of pandemic, we have moved towards we can say that we have moved towards from traditional classes, from face-to-face education learning process towards the virtual classes or digital classrooms, and which is leading to the e-learning process. So in case if we talk about the various other aspects that is related to e-learning, that is their advantages and challenges, we need in this paper I tried to understand that whether the students are able to grab those advantages, or they are facing lots of challenges related to the e-learning process. So in this way, I basically took a sample of 100 students, and they were from Delhi University undergraduate students and the senior secondary students who were in 11th or 12th standard, who were above the age of 16 years. And basically they were asked certain questions about the impact of online teaching, positive, negative, related to advantages and disadvantages of the particular field of e-learning, and also to understand the ratings they are going to give to the particular aspect. Also to understand the benefits that they are getting, understand the impact on while sharing the screen or while e-learning process or online courses that they are being offered these days, what is the major impact that they are facing these days? So the method was very simple. It's an online survey. The online survey was conducted with these students, and out of 100, 80 were the college students that was studying in the Delhi University, and 20 were the senior secondary students. Simple percentage method is used to describe and analyze the data, and you can see. The major finding was this also, that around they are spending around 6 to 8 hours for e-learning process, and they're spending that much of time for this particular process in front of their screens daily. The first chart, the first question that describes does e-learning promote any kind of interactive teaching process to these students, and does it benefits them in such a way? To understand the benefits, first I asked them, is it promoting any kind of interactivity in the teaching process? So many of them, you can say little more than half, that is 58% of the respondents are of the opinion that e-learning does not promote any kind of interactive teaching among them, and very, you can say a little less than 1/3, that is 31% of the respondents are of the opinion that e-learning promotes interactive learning or a teaching process through online mode. The second question that I asked them was about the advantages of online learning according to them, and I listed them as it saves time, can be accessed from anywhere, anytime, or can promote a better understanding of the subject involving various other tools that can be used for the engagement of the students in the learning process. And there was a category of others in case they are not agreeing to any of the advantages. So it was found that that more than half of the respondents are of the opinion that one of the important advantages of e-learning is that it can be accessible from anywhere, that is like 59%, and it can be, the recorded lecture specifically can be attended anytime, during the e-learning process, especially in terms of online courses offered to them in the process. Next is the next question that was asked about the challenges of the e-learning that they faced during this particular phase of pandemic since last 1 year, and the list was the list of challenges were like, if there is any slow internet connection that they face, bad camera quality while engaging in the e-learning process, or there was audio noise disturbances. Distractions at home were also there because number of people were locked inside the home, and they were having lots of families are living in a joint family structure, and they were getting distracted because of too much of noises from their own family members. Also, lack of sleep, long hours in front of the screen are included as the challenges of the e-learning process. So it was found that respondents were, in this particular process, respondents were allowed to choose multiple options, both in advantages and challenges. And it was found that the 2/3 of the respondents faced the challenge of long hours in front of the screen that they have to, they have to give themselves on daily basis for the e-learning process. And there was slow internet connection was another challenge that took the the very instinct part of this particular survey. And distractions at home was also another one of the major challenge that was there. Also, whereas very few respondents highlighted that they were not able to concentrate, and their mental stress increased during this particular period of time. Next is about the next question that was asked was the impact of the e-learning on the following conditions that they were facing. These conditions were like the eyesight, effects on eyesight, the headache, anxiety, sleep disorders, muscle strains, focus, and time management. So in this regard, they were given the opportunity to rate them as if they have decreased, if, for example, with eyesight have decreased because of the long hours spent in front of the screen, or they remain the same as per, if we compare it with the traditional mode of learning, or it increased during this particular period of online learning.
So Rachita ma'am, I can give you max 2 minutes now, because we have to be very short and very confined to 10 minutes, ma'am. So yes, you just have last 2 minutes, ma'am.
Sure, ma'am. So in this particular, this particular question, respondents basically identified that 70% of the respondents said that they, there is an increased headache, sleep orders have increased for them, and but there was one important thing that because of the long hour they're spending in front of the screen, the eyesight is getting decreased or it is getting impacted due to the e-learning process. Also, a similar number of the respondent believes that the time management is possible in this particular process of e-learning. Then there is a rating experience for e-learning, and the rating experience was marked on the basis of excellent, good, acceptable, and poor. Ranking was done on the basis of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Excellent was for 4, and poor के लिए one number of category was used. And in order to understand that, respondent said that among 20% of respondent believes that creative thinking was declining, and it's getting poor because of e-learning. But in terms of resemblance to traditional method, 40% says it's an acceptable mode of learning in the especially the graduate students of the Delhi universities believe so. Lastly, it was also found that if they were facing any problem during online examination, yes, they were facing lots of problem, and they were given multiple choice options to choose from. That is, they were facing web glitches, website glitches specifically while uploading their files, and also they were facing lots of internet issue during the during their online examination while they were conducting after the e-learning process. So this was the major finding that was there in the this particular paper. And lastly, to conclude my paper, I suggested that we, in order to engage and to make e-learning process more interesting for the students, we need to understand that interactive teaching has to be included, and for that engagement process for the student has to be done through collaboration, through cooperation of the different institutes across the higher education levels. Also by including those less affluent students, giving them the digital devices or internet plans through scholarships or sponsorships, providing them through the universities, or maybe the various other organizations or NGOs can work in that particular level. Also, we need to understand that the FDPs for the teachers and for the students, for example, for LMS, learning management systems like Moodle and others that are being used in these particular organizations, should be promoted more among these students, specifically to encourage user-friendly interface, and also to include facilities like games, quizzes, animated videos, and audio specifically to engage them more in the e-learning process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Meenakshi ma'am, any quick feedback?
Yeah, so Rachita, it was a very interesting study that you have done, and I think most of us teachers are, going through a similar situation with the students. But I'm very curious to know, Rachita, आपने ने दो अलग-अलग set of groups को लिया है. एक तो college students हैं, दूसरा I think they are senior secondary, so they are school students. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so दोनों में specifically अगर मैं compare करूँ, so which group you felt was affected the most and why?
मैम जब रिजल्ट्स आए तो उसमें मैंने अभी सबसे पहले तो ये नोटिस करा कि 80 ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स वर फ्रॉम दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी एंड 20 वर फ्रॉम द स्कूल. सो इफ आई सी तो नंबर जहाँ पे ज़्यादा जा रहा है यूनिवर्सिटी का, बट द मोस्ट इफेक्टेड वंस वर फ्रॉम दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी. रीजन वॉज, आई विल गिव यू द रीजन विच आई कुड अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर पेपर इज दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स were staying in the city only, in Delhi only, and they were able to access internet. But most of the Delhi University students are from outside also, and when they were there at their hometown or their own places or villages, or they were not able to get that kind of internet connection, or they're not able to afford that kind of digital devices that should be used for the learning process. So I think they were getting more impacted and affected because of the entire process of e-learning.
Okay, fine. And maybe even the number was very small for the.
Yeah, exactly.
Where we cannot conclude.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful paper and very relevant to our current times. And hopefully the suggestions that you have given will actually get, sort of implemented across the board in a much, sort of, so that students learn better.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, we move on to the next participant. Rajvinder Kaur is your
Yes, ma'am, I'm present.
All right, 1 second. I'll just give you the presenter option. Just a second.
Okay, ma'am.
Just give me 1 second.
Okay, ma'am, no problem.
Ma'am, please, you keep your PPT ready so that you can share the screen.
Yes, ma'am, my PPT is ready.
Yeah, I have changed it. You can share the screen, ma'am.
Yes,
Now you can
ma'am.
share the screen, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, I have option. Just a second.
Yeah. So can you start sharing, please? Yeah.
So, ma'am, is it visible?
Yeah, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the title of my research paper is Digital Public Relations in Today's Era of 21st Century and Its Benefits to Business Organization. I am Rajvinder Kaur, Research Scholar, Chandigarh University, Punjab. So, the first is introduction. So, what is digital PR? Digital public relation is a method of increasing awareness of brand using online platforms. So, a digital public relation relies on internet-based techniques such as search engine optimization, content marketing based influencer outreach, social media to have greater impact. So, the aim of digital public relation in marketing is to accomplish the following basic two objectives. The first one is create brand recognition and understanding as well. The next one is to disseminate information about company or organization's credibility. So for the study, I have studied past literature just to know the significance of my study as well as to identify research gaps. So due to lack of time, I'm just skipping this portion. So the gaps in the present study. Based on the present literature studies, it is identified that all past studies are based on digital public relations in other aspects. There are very few studies, those who are actually watching the digital public relations in a marketing field. There is a strong need to come up with integrated study on digital public relations in today's time. For the timings, the present study is an attempt to explore digital public relations in today's time along with its various benefits to the business organization. So the objectives of the study. The present study having three basic objectives. The first one is to explore about various digital public relations strategies. The next one is to gain knowledge of various digital public relations tool. And the last one is to know the benefits of digital public relations to business organizations. So the research methodology, research for the study basically both the type of research data are used, primary as well as secondary. The study, the nature of the study is basically descriptive type of study. So the primary data is collected through in-depth interviews of 15 marketing professionals, and the semi-structured interviews are conducted with all those respondents. So these are some of the questions which are asked during the interview process. So the period of study is basically 1 month. In this 1 month, in-depth interviews were conducted and analysis were done and conclusions are drawn. So the sampling and type of sampling. The sampling is the type of sampling is used is basically a convenient sampling, and the 15 marketing professionals are interviewed on the base for the purpose of data collection, and these all respondents are basically belonging to Indian organizations. So the secondary data is also used for the study. The secondary data is collected through internet, journals, articles, and published reports. So for the study, various databases are used for to collect secondary data. So now come to analysis and interpretation. So according to first objective, various digital public relations strategies. The first one is anchor with a specific purpose. The clickable words which are connect from external website to a page to on the website are referred to an anchor text. So these strategies are helpful for marketing professionals for digital public relations, like URL are to be tagged, list of media, pitch, and concepts for content. So these are all strategies which a digital digital public relations they can use, and they can boost their relations with the ultimate consumers. So the next part is digital public relations tools for building digital public relations. The first one is optimization of search engine. Search engine is the most popular way to find information on the internet. For digital public practitioners, keyword optimization of and news content is a viral method. Press release, media reports, and multimedia access like photographs, videos are examples of news content that can be optimized, improve search exposure, aids to marketing campaign, and online credibility. The next one is use of social media. Understanding social media connection is the key to an effective digital PR campaign. Actively optimizing social media content, cultivating connection with customers to deflect brand exposure with highest number of recognition in the market. The next one is blogging. Talking about blogging, when it is done very nicely and in a corrective way, it is fantastic for digital PR. A company blogs helps the business to produce and distribute its own material to the target or audience online of the content creators. The next one is resource in digital world. Most websites host audio, video, blogs, and photographs and variety of digital content which provide ample of chances for pool-based digital PR. The next one is monitoring the internet and social media. There are various resources available to assist online PR professional in effective tracking brand credibility. Business may set up pre-notification to mention their brand version and competitor name, product information, etc. So, according to third objective, benefits of digital public relations to business organizations. So, business organizations benefited through all these digital public relations in number of ways, because nowadays digital public relation is a future, and it is becoming the future. So, there are lots of benefits, but some of them are listed here. The first one is build brand loyalty. Engines will identify it as a reliable source of information. It uses publish you it if uses it if users publish it in a well-way, high quality information. If it is given on the website, the users can recognize, and when all the information is correct, then it ultimately increase the loyalty, because when customers watch it on website and at the same time whatever they get at the same thing, then it ultimately creates brand loyalty. The next one is boost organizational business organizational sale. So when anything is depicted in a digital form, or the reachability is more, then it is ultimately it's a basic thing that it increase the organizational sale. Any good digital PR firm understand that campaign needs to be make profit and see the return on investment in digital market. The third one is generate leads. A successful digital PR strategies introduce the goods to target and influences audience. So it is more people who are learn about the goods, they can go to website and they can generate more leads, which will ultimately benefit to the business organization. The fourth one is increase the number of visitors to the website. As when the information all the information is digitally available, it is easy for the visitors to explore about the business information. So they can get any type of product information, any type of company information, any type of new brand brand line information. So it increase when visitors are increasing on the website, ultimately it is sure that they are relying on the business organization. The last one is help to improve the overall optimizations and rankings. Having linked to the website and publishing on high authority website can help rank for the target keywords. The higher the website Google scores, the most traffic it would get, as it is rightly said by Johan Muller that in many instances digital PR is even more important than technical SEO for achieving good rankings. So coming to the conclusion part, so we can say digital PR strategy should be run in a combined with an SEO campaign to achieve best results. Digital PR is our future. So digital PR should be used in such a way that organization should benefit as well as it should benefit the potential customers so that they can rely on the business and they can get the products. With the advent of social media, there is a magnitude of new ways to the market a business, so it create the ultimate impact on the business as well as stakeholders, organizations, potential customers, etc. So thank you so much. Your questions are more than welcome.
Thank you, Rajvinder. Now I would like Meenakshi ma'am to give a quick feedback.
So,
Rajvinder, can you stop the screen share so that the next participant can probably share the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Just a second, ma'am. I don't know how to switch off my screen sharing. Can you please guide me? Hello.
Click onto the share option again. Yeah, it stopped, ma'am. It stopped. Yeah, okay. Yes, Meenakshi ma'am, you can.
yeah. So, Rajvindra, that's quite an interesting study. I'm just curious to know that any specific charts or graphs about which particular participant said what, because you've done a semi-structured interview. So, any quotes that you can
Yes,
share
ma'am.
with us, as to who were the participants in what capacity, and because it's an interview, so that becomes really crucial, so that we understand, what the industry currently is thinking and who are these people at what designation organization. So certain quotes by them, and then how many of them actually sort of said similar things that will really throw an insight into what the industry is currently thinking in terms of digital PR.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the basically data collected from digital market practitioners. So, for due to lack of timings, I just randomly selected people according to my convenience. So, I have just asked them various questions, and on the basis of that questions, I have generated results as well as compiled the results. So, these are the people who are basically belong to a marketing profession. So, like company marketing practitioners, sales practitioners, so all of them are just the people those who are in my reach. As I already told you that due to lack of time I'm just unable to conduct a questionnaire study on this particular topic.
I'm not talking about that. I'm saying, do you have any quotes by any one of them, specific quotes that you would like to share with us, any specific themes that were emerging from, because it's a thematic study, it's a qualitative study that you've done. So any themes that were emerging
Yes,
from
ma'am.
your study that you can want to, sort of share with us all?
Okay, so likewise, I have just questioned them regarding the various benefits of digital public relations. So they said whenever people get any kind of grading on social media, they just rely on that. It ultimately increase the benefit to the organization. Likewise, they whenever they just go for online shopping like on Amazon, on Flipkart, etc., they just check the rankings. So after rankings, if they find the rankings are good, then they ultimately go for the organization's product.
Okay, so fair enough. Geeta, we can probably move on to the next person. Thank you, Rajvinder.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you
So,
so much, ma'am, for giving me this chance. Thank you so much, everyone.
okay, Sagarika ma'am, I have made you the presenter already. Can you share the screen, please?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. The next in line are Nishka and Forum. Nishka and Forum, kindly be ready. After Sagarika ma'am, it's your turn.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, the share option is not available here.
One sec.
It's showing only meeting organizers and presenters can share.
I have made you the presenter, ma'am, already. I've already made you the presenter. You will be able to share. Okay, 1 second. I will access your PPT. 1 second. Just hold on. You have sent the PPT to my our
Yes,
ID?
I have. Yes, I have, ma'am. Yes, I have.
Yeah, just a sec. Yeah, I'll share it. 1 second. Yeah, I'll just share the screen. Just give me 1 minute of time.
Yes.
Yeah. Ma'am, kindly confirm if you are able to see the slide option, the slide, the presentation.
Not now.
It's just loading.
Yes,
Can you see it now?
Yes, it's loaded. Yes.
So kindly guide me. I will navigate, ma'am, and please keep it very short and simple. 10 minutes time. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity I have given. I am myself Dr. Sagarika Das, Associate Professor at Sri Guru Ram Rai University, Dehradun, Uttarakhand. So my topic is the new education technologies accelerating change, closing the gender divide in India. As we know, the most of the women belong to the profession of teaching. Because of the flexibility of the time, it is a very favorite and the most opted career for the women. And mostly even the bridegroom also, they also like the bride with the teaching profession. They are most into the women who are into the teaching of career. So but the pandemic has shifted this because it was flexible. It was very easy for them. It was like going and teaching and coming back. But the pandemic has put a load on the teachers and the female educators. I must say not the teachers only. All the female educators. They have shifted the mode of teaching. The pandemic has shifted the mode of teaching, and some teachers are more into the teaching, online pedagogy. Even the new education policy. Talk about the new education policy. It has also going to incorporate many technologies and mixing the education and the technologies in the future. So EdTech or education technology, we can see is the future of the technology. And more women, if we accept this technology, we must say the gender gap still exists between the men and women. The technology, it will also eliminate with the time. So when we take, we'll see the review of literature. The UNICEF report 2017 is still clear that there is gender gap and that the women are only 29%, the rest are men in the digital divide. About that. And the other report of women and report said that we have a social cultural conditioning. The women think we don't need IT, we don't need internet, and it's a main job. The IT and technology is a main job. So we just keep ourselves when it's not needed, we just keep ourselves from this thing. And another thing I want to say, the women found to be the unpaid care and domestic work that men do. 2.6 times the amount of unpaid care and domestic work. So we are more into the work, so we hardly have time which to learn the new technologies and the skills. And another one, the girls, because of the social and the parental biases, the science, they are more into the humanities art rather than the science and ICT, the information communication technology. So all this all these that the women are the women or the girl or a female educators, that they are not going to they are not going to the technology. They are not in so skilled because of this. We can say this barriers of technology are still exist for them. So this observer study is the adaptation of education technologies to digital empowerment of female educators. Objectively, we are going to adapt more and more education technologies to lead to digital empowerment of female educators. And when the female educators will digital technology, digital they will equip elements of gender divide. So research methods have taken 100 women from both the sector, from the online survey, from the school education and from the higher education. All the female educators are covered during this. time they were interested in tech, the most say yes, this is the first time they were learning, they were going to this learning management. They heard the word of Google Hangout, Microsoft Teams, and a Blackboard. For the first time they heard all these things like this. And but they find it very flexibility of time and place. They could attend their classes at the same time. They can manage the house. There is flexibility. The technology gives them flexibility of time and the third one, they accept that they find it difficult in operating. So they haven't received any skills, not for the government, they were not any government or the private colleges or the schools. Nobody has taught them the skills of operating this. They only learned from their experimenting on this during this pandemic because of this pandemic. And they also accepted that it has enhanced the creativity in teaching because they could make the PPTs, they could show the videos, they could display the audios to the students, and the students were more participating and were more curious. So the next also they find it that it has helped the career enhancement. Like we are just aiming more and more abilities. We have this conferences, webinars, presentations.
Sagarika ma'am, actually now your voice is cracking a bit. Do you mind to switch off your video so that at least there will be a bandwidth so we could hear you clearly? Is that okay?
Okay, is this okay, ma'am?
Yeah, this is fine, ma'am.
Okay. So this is we have second slide. So
should I go to the next slide? Result and analysis is on right now. Should I go to the next slide? Please tell me.
Yes, it has, as I said, it has helped in their career and more things which they feel they have made it independent in handling the business. Because for handling the digital tools, more into their father, they're more into their brother or son or email account, their counterpart. They're taking the help of handling the digital, but now they can be their own digital skills and the pedagogical skills because of this COVID pandemic and exposed to this. And but at the same time, they feel they need to adapt tech, but they need more skills and training. They need to be more trained. They need to be more into the technologies, the design. Not only using the technology. I think they have to design technologies for the class. So they want to make of their like they also want to make own. So they are so wanted that they go the skills and training for this. So my conclusion was that education technology is going to bring a change in the female educator. As we say, if we educate a girl, we will educate the society. So the female educators educate a large large of people, of students at the society, and that will be a ripple effect. Both, and they will bring change. The digital divide will also, with the time, will end, and basically, and we also put a check in the drop-off ratio of the girl students because of this digital education. And lastly, we will more and more we will be able to see this of smiling faces of female educators, the technologists. Thank you. From you. Okay, ma'am, I'm done.
All right. Meenakshi, ma'am.
Yeah. So I was just trying to listen to Sagarika. There's a lot of audio disturbances. Quickly, if you could just guide us through some questions.
Network issue, I think, no? It was a network. Yes, ma'am. It was network.
Yeah, ma'am. There is a lag actually in your voice.
I know, yeah. क्या हो रहा था? आवाज क्लियर नहीं आ रही थी, पर कोई बात नहीं. हाँ, कोई बात नहीं. आप मुझे बताइए कि आपने ये स्पेसिफिकली स्टडी फीमेल एजुकेटर्स को लेकर की है. So were you only questioning female educators because because it was not very clear, we were not able to catch a lot of things, so we'll keep asking questions just to sort of ratify what you were trying to say. So आपने सिर्फ female educators को आपने सर्वे किया है?
Yes. I have studied the female educators because I have a feeling that women and the female educators are more into this teaching profession. If you look into the primary education, the higher education, it's And
Okay.
if we go through the presentation also, ma'am, if you check the presentation, the 70 to 70% of the presenter are female. And more women are in this profession. So I think if they are technically, they are technically equipped, they are going to make changes, and the digital divide is going to act with the time.
Okay. How many female educators have you spoken to for the survey?
Yes, ma'am.
How many total female educators did you speak to, and where?
100. I have taken 150 from the schools education and 50 from the higher education.
Okay, so you had split it between school and higher education.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So what challenges did you face, while you were doing this particular survey in this kind of pandemic? How easy or difficult was it to really tap all so many people? How did you sort of reach them?
So we just received the online survey because the teachers, they are more into today they have just learned to make the questionnaire with the Google form, and they have also they have very equipped with the how to handle those things. So we just reached to them through the online survey.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Sagar.
Thank you.
All right. The next participant is Forum and Nishka Shah. Forum and Nishka. Forum, I have made you the presenter. Can you share the screen? Is that okay? All right.
Is the screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. Nishka?
Keep it very short and simple. 10 minutes time, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Nashka Shah, along with my co-presenter, Forum Shah, going to be presenting a study on the increasing popularity of LinkedIn, how it influences the recruitment and job search process. Next slide, please. So the popularity of LinkedIn has been steadily increasing for a while now with relation to various communication sectors, whether it is informal social connections or the other end of the spectrum that includes recruitment and job applications. LinkedIn has been a heavy competitor when it comes to the professional circle of social interaction. Right from CEOs to interns, LinkedIn provides an opportunity for everyone to connect seamlessly. Besides job searches and recruitments, it is a global platform to showcase one's skills and achievements and is also an authentic source for industry updates. This research paper focuses on how LinkedIn is perceived by employers and employees and how it influences the job seeking and recruitment process. Our literature review covered the following subtopics: what is LinkedIn, prominent features, who uses LinkedIn, quality effectiveness, and other than that, we also covered how LinkedIn helps to remove geographical barriers with relation to hiring and who uses LinkedIn and how do they use it, and also what are the prominent features. Next slide, please. So the objective that we had with this study was basically to understand the extent to which LinkedIn is used for job search and recruitment process by collecting information related to the same with respect to various factors which we will look into further in the data analysis part. So the research question that we drafted on basis of this was to what extent have employers, employees or prospective employees started using LinkedIn for recruitment and job search processes. And the two hypotheses that we devised on the basis of this was whether a significant number of employers use LinkedIn to recruit employees for their company or organization, and whether a significant number of employees and prospective employees use LinkedIn to apply for jobs. Next slide, please. Coming to our research methodology. So the methodology we adapted was a quantitative study with qualitative questions, as one of the objectives is to statistically test the hypothesis while understanding the perception of the users. The method of data collection that we used was a survey technique administered through Google Forms. Primary data was collected for this research, and a questionnaire was sent out to collect the relevant data from employers and employees. Our questionnaire was directed towards the employer's perspective of the use of LinkedIn for recruitment purposes, and the other one was dedicated to employees' perspective of the use of LinkedIn for job openings, etc. So to get a deeper understanding about the usage of LinkedIn, we both our questionnaires included objective as well as subjective questions. And these questions enabled us to extensively understand the features and accessibility of LinkedIn as a platform, along with the challenges that are faced by users with quality effectiveness of the mentioned features, which we analyze. The sampling technique, so due to time and financial constraints, we had a non-probability convenience sampling was adopted as the elements of the population were readily available. The information that we obtained through both our questionnaires were circulated among respondents in the like between employers and employees. The ratio that we had was 30 to 70, and non-probability sampling was used as respondents were chosen on the basis of ease and proximity convenient to the research. The sample population for employees were students belonging to various streams such as BMS, BMM, BSc, IT. And it was also ensured that students who have been introduced to the research and the research methodology and various aspects of media and journalism have not been included in the research to avoid any kind of bias. And our sampling for recruiters belong to public as well as private sector industries in India. I would like to ask Forum to continue from here.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Foram, and I'm going to be taking up observation and data analysis onwards. So first, I'd like to start with the employees. The demographic that filled in our employee questionnaire included 53% of respondents between the age of 19 and 23. Employees or prospective employees on the website were majorly there to build professional contacts and job alerts, and they updated their profile once in 3 to 4 months. Most of, when it came to applying to job, most of the respondents applied to 5 jobs at a time, but they attested that only 1 out of those 5 recruiters actually got back to them, whether the response was positive or negative. 41% of the respondents gave a neutral response when asked that, was the online application process different from the offline application process or more tedious as well. We also asked our respondents to rate LinkedIn on a scale of 1 to 7. 1 being not useful at all and 7 being very useful. 28.1% rated LinkedIn a 5 on 7, while 21.9% rated a 4 on 7, and another 21.9% rated a 6 on 7. So, just a second. Okay. Now, I think there was a slide missing. I'm very sorry. This is the observation and data analysis for the employers part of it. Our demographic for employers was mainly founders, directors, and HR managers. 12.5% of these people have been working at their current job for over 20 years, and another handful have been working for around 2.5 years. So we have an old as well as a newer perspective on LinkedIn. 15.6% of the respondents subscribed to LinkedIn Premium, and half of the overall respondents visited or updated their page once a week. Okay. When given a scale, of 1 to 7 to rate how useful LinkedIn was for hiring, the statistics I already mentioned here: 21.8 rated a 5 on 7, which is a very high score, and 21.9 rated a 6 on 7. But this also means that they still thought there was something to improve in the user interface. 21.8% of the respondents work in companies that actually use LinkedIn to hire online. 31.3% use the hiring process online occasionally, and 40% don't use it at all. Now, talking a little bit about the profiles, 53%, which is the majority, of the respondents found almost all of the information on the employees' LinkedIn profiles to be accurate. And 43.8% also came across a neutral number, which is a 3 on 5 on a scale of 1 being very few and 5 being a lot. Passive profiles, which means that profiles that didn't respond to their applications or their responses. This slide talks a little bit about preferences and predictions. When it came to preferences, 65% of the respondents preferred online organic process of hiring over LinkedIn. And 21.8% felt that online hiring can fully replace organic hiring in the future, which is offline hiring. But with a 56%, like a good amount floating towards a maybe, which again tells us that they think it can replace, but they don't heavily rely on it. Coming to the limitations of our study, the research is quantitative in a major sense and not very subjective. This didn't let us delve deeper into how the respondents actually perceive LinkedIn and how deeply they use it. Second one was the constraints that we had when it came to the size of sample because of financial and time constraints, as mentioned before. We had a sample size of employees and employers adding up to 104 respondents, but the ratio was also a little skewed, and the representation in the sample size was also a little skewed. We also didn't have enough time to study LinkedIn competitors like Glassdoor to better compare how these online job hiring processes work. In conclusion, there is a significant dissonance between how employers and employees see LinkedIn. When it comes to job searching hiring processes, employers agree that LinkedIn may prove to be useful but tend to hire mostly offline, while employees or prospective employees, they rely heavily on the online process and ensure their social presence complements the job search process. It's seen that a large number of people are actually applying to jobs online, but much fewer people are actually responding to these applications or hiring online. And when it comes to further scope, this study can be further adapted to research the reasons behind how and why these employers and employees react to LinkedIn or the hiring and recruitment processes like they do. And in addition to that, a qualitative study can be done to prove how LinkedIn can be a more reliable platform for recruiters. With this, I'd like to end the presentation. Thank you so much.
Meenakshi ma'am, do you want to quickly give a feedback?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting study. Forum, Nishka, and all the other people who presented from your class. I think it's a very interesting presentation. And Mike, somehow, throughout your presentation, Mike, that one particular line just kept catching on to my ears was that, a lot of, hiring is not happening online. Am I right? So
Yes.
that's sort of repeating also in your presentation. So why do you think people are on LinkedIn then?
So I think from what we've seen in data and as a student, what I see is we know as students, as a newer generation, that hiring is possible online, but
Yes.
a lot of people, a lot of bigger companies don't entirely rely on it. And in India, especially, bigger companies don't entirely rely on it, but we still apply. Like, people still list jobs, the people don't respond to them as much.
Very interesting. So are you guys on LinkedIn? Have you all sort of registered yourself on LinkedIn after
Yes,
this?
ma'am.
You're still
Before.
on LinkedIn in spite of
Yes.
this thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you do some kind of a content analysis of some senior people on LinkedIn just to understand what kind of content is floating on LinkedIn, so that you understand why also LinkedIn, for what reasons are LinkedIn being used? Have you done any informal study or anything like that?
No, ma'am, we haven't done a content analysis as of yet.
Okay. So probably that might also answer a question, your question. I mean, of course, you can go and talk to people why they use LinkedIn, especially people who are already into jobs and spend some years into it. So what are they using LinkedIn for? So that will sort of give you an idea. Your generation also, कि भाई LinkedIn किस लिए use हो रहा है? And I don't know whether you guys read it yesterday. LinkedIn was hacked on the dark web. So a lot of data was not hacked exactly. A lot of data from LinkedIn was sold off on the dark web yesterday. That was the latest news. So whatever.
I wasn't aware, but
yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Very interesting study. And
thank
all
you
the
so much.
Yeah.
All right. Sakshi and Amrita, are you all ready?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Sakshi, I have made you the presenter. Can you share the screen now?
Ma'am, can you make Amrita the presenter, because I have some issues on my PC.
Acha. No problem. Amrita, I have given you the option of sharing the screen.
Okay, ma'am, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is. Can you put it on a slideshow mode, Amrita?
Ma'am, if I do that, I'm not able to unmute myself again. So.
Acha, okay, all right, no problem.
Okay,
Ma'am, can we begin with the presentation?
Yes, you can. Just stick to 10 minutes. Don't exceed beyond that, please.
Yes.
Sure, ma'am. A very good evening to all. A very good morning to all of you. Pardon.
It is good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sakshi.
A very familiar tune to what we associate Netflix and chill. So sit back and chill as we scroll through the feed of our presentation and present to you a research on a study on Netflix India's content marketing and strategies on Instagram. Myself, Sakshi Chandarana.
And myself, Amrita Kudle. Moving ahead with the introduction, as we all know, Instagram is a booming platform and it has become very important for all kind of businesses to be there on Instagram. Brands have been using Instagram strategically to promote themselves and also connect with their users. And while they do so, it is very important and interesting to understand the kind of content strategy they come up with and also the way they engage with their users. Here in this particular paper, we have analyzed Netflix India's Instagram account. Moving ahead is the literature review. We read through certain research papers and articles and tried and understood the meaning of these terms as follows, which are Instagram marketing, customer engagement, content marketing, digital storytelling, OTT platforms, and Netflix. Moving ahead is the hypothesis. We came up with multiple hypotheses. The 4 hypotheses are as follows. Netflix India's Instagram account uses humor appeal as a dominant appeal in the post. Netflix India's Instagram account doesn't use any dominant appeal in the post. The static post yield more traction as compared to video posts on Netflix India's Instagram account. The static post yield less traction as compared to video posts on Netflix India's Instagram account. Moving ahead is the research questions. So before we held the research, we kept these questions in mind. How is Netflix India using Instagram as a branding tool in order to promote its content marketing strategies? What type of content does Netflix India share on Instagram? What yields user engagement for the same? What type of content does a user engage with on Instagram account of Netflix India? Moving ahead to research methodology, we used both quantitative as well as qualitative analysis. In qualitative content analysis, we did an analysis of 93 posts posted by Netflix India on its Instagram within the duration of 1st January 2021 to 15 January 2021. Next is quantitative approach. So to understand it from users' perspective, we asked certain questions in the questionnaire, which was curated using a Google form. The sample size was same, was 100 respondents, and the sampling technique was non-probability sampling according to the convenience of the researcher. Moving ahead is the scope of study. So the scope of study is more comprehensive one, as Netflix comes up with variety of content even for its social media platform. So to understand it from the perspective of Netflix content strategy and also to understand users' perspective, certain questions were asked in the questionnaire, which was formulated using the Google form. Now I would like my colleague Sakshi to take over.
Thank you, Amrita. Now I would like to take you through the content analysis and the quantitative analysis that we had done. So for content analysis, we undertook a study of 93 posts posted by Netflix India on the platform Instagram for the promotion of its content and branding purposes. So we came across, we had decided on various variables for the content analysis, which are the type of post, the content bucket, the metrics like likes, views, shares, comments, the user engagement, which we had calculated using the formula of total engagement divided by the number of followers into 100. And we analyzed the hashtags that were used, the users that were tagged, and the overall emotion and appeal that came across through the post. So we found out that there were 31 video posts and 62 static posts. The 31 video posts included the IGTV trailer, teaser videos, influencer videos, promotional videos, and the new concept of Instagram Reels. The static post included the film and series screenshot, the memes, the photo shoot, the infographic post, the festival post, the interactive and the conversational post, and the actor appreciation post. We also studied the content bucket under which these posts fall into. There was 6 content buckets, that is entertainment, inspiration, education, conversation, connection, and promotion. The most dominant type of content bucket that we came across all the analyzed posts is of entertainment, which was followed by connection and promotion. Moving on to the metrics like likes, views, comments, and shares, the average likes were about 82,163. The views that the page received through the time span was 3,19,739. The average comments were 475 and the average user engagement was up to 4.5 per post. And we also analyzed the hashtags which were used, and we found a peculiarity that the reels aspect, the video post aspect of Netflix India uses a lot of hashtags as compared to the static posts. And lastly, coming on to the overall emotion and appeal, there were different emotion and appeals like excitement, surprise, love, happiness, joy, nostalgia, sadness that were predominantly seen. But the most unique and the most dominant appeal observed was humor throughout all the posts. Moving on to the next slide. Here we are.
Sakshi, can you be a bit quick? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Amrita, can we move to the next slide? Yeah, so we had asked a series of questions as mentioned by Amrita to the Google form. So we find a stark difference between the Netflix followers and the subscribers. Then we move on to the content that was liked by the people. So here we see that the people like the static posts more than the video post. Then moving on with the campaigns and hashtags. So people are more engaged with the hashtags and campaign reveals done by Netflix, and they are likely to watch a lot of shows that are posted, like the screenshots that are posted. We also asked them a question that if they would rewatch these shows. So there were like 74% of the respondents who agreed to that. The other question that we asked was regarding the likeliness of them posting such posts on their stories, but we got a very neutral response from the respondents. Moving on to the next question. We had inserted a few screenshots of the post from Instagram, and we had analyzed the user engagement. Out of that, the study shows that the form of likes is the user engagement that is highly preferred by all the respondents, followed by the commenting and saving aspect. We also studied we also asked the respondents to analyze the post according to the emotion that is conveyed, and through all the 4 screenshots that we had posted for the emotion, we came across one dominant emotion and the appeal, that is humor, that was observed, followed by love and nostalgia. Moving ahead to the conclusion, Amrita, can we go to the conclusion slide? Yes. So here the conclusion that we deduce is that the user engagement that Netflix receives is from its IGTV videos and reels, whereas when we went through the quantitative analysis of the questions, we found out that the users prefer static post more over the reels and the video content. So here the hypothesis was proved through the content analysis that the static post yield less traction as compared to the video post on Netflix India's Instagram account. And the other hypothesis of the research, that Netflix India's Instagram account uses humor appeal as one of the dominant appeal in the post, is proven because of the proofs that we saw as the respondents had responded to the questionnaire. Moving on to the further scope of the study. Amrita, can we move to the next slide? Okay, yeah. So this research can be beneficial to the market practitioners to formulate various content and communication strategies on the platform of Instagram, since we see that a lot of users are using Instagram, and it is creating a platform for content creators as well as brands to promote their products and services. And also that it can be a study that explores an alternative to traditional advertising, and integration of Instagram marketing is a must in today's time. So this study can be beneficial for the same, and we can also expand the scope of the research by analyzing the comparative angle. Like we can analyze the posts of Netflix India along with its competitors like Amazon Prime, Hotstar, Z5, and then we can analyze their content strategies and how they are gaining user engagement. So this way we can understand the content marketing and strategies. And with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you all for listening so patiently.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Meenakshi ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, okay. So it was a very interesting study, Sakshi and Amrita, and
how do you think, they're able to find out the conversion, because they seem to be taking a lot of effort in, Netflix into promoting themselves. So do you think, from the comments, if you have analyzed that, were they able to see that, there will be a possible conversion? Because you know how it's in India, we want everything free. We want something which is, we're not paying for. So, did you
Yeah.
guys look into that side also?
So, ma'am, in our research, we did not analyze the comment per se. We just analyzed the post and the caption that was posted by Netflix India, because there were a huge amount of comments, and due to time constraints, we could not analyze it. But in the further scope, we can definitely, conduct a research on the comments aspect.
Yeah, that'll be a good idea, because that'll give, suppose Karo, you're from Netflix, the comments is the most important thing which they must be analyzing, as to maybe they get some idea as to how many of these guys who are looking into my promotions are going to be actually subscribing also to them. It's so difficult otherwise for them to tap.
Yes, because ma'am, in the questions also, when we had asked them that do they subscribe and do they follow, so there was a difference of around about 20%.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so they follow, but they don't have a subscription. So
absolutely,
yeah.
So that is actually the toughest for any marketer to sort of, the conversion is the most important thing, because I can keep promoting, but what if people are not coming and buying my product, or, looking for something, looking for freebies. So, that's how it is. But otherwise, it was great, very detailed. You guys have done super presentation, and keep it up.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, Geeta ma'am, and thank you, Meenakshi ma'am.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, Geeta ma'am.
All right, we go on to the next participant, Dhruvi and Dhanashri. Please be ready. Dhruvi, please share your screen.
Yes, ma'am.
These two, the people who have already given their presentation can lower their hand so that we know like how many people are left. Yeah.
Is the screen share visible?
Dhruvi, again, make it very short and simple. 10 minutes.
Sure, ma'am. Is the slide visible?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dhruvi, and we'll be talking about on the research paper on the topic, study on the role of WhatsApp forwards as fake news. So, I'd like to start up with a quote. Beware of false knowledge. It is more dangerous than ignorance. So, starting with the introduction, the first social media site was made by Andrew Winrich in 1997. 2009 saw the introduction of WhatsApp. Two former Yahoo employees, Brian Acton and Jan Combe, introduced WhatsApp. With the increasing usage of WhatsApp, there is an increased number of false and misleading messages termed as WhatsApp fake forwards. So, talking about the literature review, social media platforms. Social media platforms like WhatsApp nowadays have become a major source of communication, whether it's formal or informal. This situation has led to the monopoly of WhatsApp as an app in the whole market. And as you all can recall, recently WhatsApp was down for some time, and which led to people getting hysteric and impatient about what was actually happening around them. They started to go on to Twitter and other websites to check whether there was something wrong with their mobile phones or their internet connection. This kind of situation shows that how badly we are dependent on such a small app. Now, according to various research papers and websites, WhatsApp is thought to be a platform to communicate at zero cost, and as well, as long as you have a good and better network connection, you don't need anything else. And that's why people are so many amount of people are using it, because they find it very convenient to share any kind of files they want to, whether it's a media file or is in any kind of contact or a video or anything for that matter. Now, this leads to the exploitation of information that is available on WhatsApp, because there are no other substitute platform from where you can check what kind of information that you are getting. Now, talking about the WhatsApp fake forwards, those are nothing but the information, small piece of information which is shared from one person to another or from one person to a large group of people without checking the credibility of the message. These fake forwards are responsible for various kinds of criminal activities and wrongdoings within the society. Various research done on this topic state that there are high chances of some alarming fake content getting viral that can lead to a state of chaos in the society, and at the same time can lead to more increase of violent activities. Also, this can also only be avoided if people are more awoke towards the situation which is going on right now. The third thing is how can we establish the difference between real versus fake news? During our research, we got to know that this could be done through three points. It could be done first of all by checking that there is a message written over. Whenever any message is forwarded, there is always a sign written forwarded, and there are many times a sign written many times forwarded. This could be done to check whether the messages that are forwarded to you are forwarded by someone else, or it is being freshly created by someone and then forwarded to you. The second thing that could be done is the use of various fact checkers that are available. This could be Alt News, Boom, Webproof, etc., where you can check the credibility of the fact that has been sent to you. And the third thing would be to refrain our friends and family or our relatives or anyone to forward such messages without checking its credibility. Now talking about the objective. So talking about our objective of the research, the main objective was to know how such information is being, fake information is being created at the first place, and how it has been forwarded to another people, to understand how such consumption of news leads to the kind of society that we are living in and leads to a state of fear and chaos. Also, to check whether the use of fact checkers can lead to a more improved situation in the society or not. Our hypotheses were two. First of all, H0, which says the awareness and vigilance among the respondents regarding WhatsApp fake forwards was quite high. And the second one was HA, which was the awareness and vigilance among respondents regarding WhatsApp fake forwards was quite low. Talking about our research question, does forwarded messages on WhatsApp play a major role in spreading of fake news, and are people aware about its consequences or not? Talking about the research methodology, a set of methods and principles that one uses while studying a particular subject or doing a particular type of work is known as methodology. Two types of research are quantitative and qualitative research. For our research, we had included quantitative research, where we have used survey questionnaire through online Google Forms. Now, talking about the sampling technique, the sampling technique used by us is non-probability technique. There are various types of non-probability technique that are available, and the one we used in our research is convenience sampling, and our sample was 100 respondents. So I would now like Dhanashri to take the presentation forward.
Can you please change the slide?
Yeah. One second. Yeah.
So we asked many questions, and Dhruvi, yeah. So first question that we asked was forwarding messages after cross-checking facts. 45% people said that yes, they fact check before they forward messages, and 24% said no, and 31% people said yes, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. We asked that did they receive any fake forwards during the pandemic of corona. People said that 63% said that yes, they were aware that they received fake forwards related to coronavirus. 21% people said they don't, and they didn't, and 16% said that they weren't even sure if they received or not. People using WhatsApp on regular basis, there were 95% people used WhatsApp on a regular basis, 1% didn't, and 4% said sometimes. Please change the slide, please. So we asked which categories of fake forwards people received. 63% people said that they received fake forwards related to health sector because of the corona pandemic. 29% said that they received fake forwards related to political issues or politics. 5% said that they received entertainment or related fake news, and only 3% people said that they received education related fake news. We asked people if you think that fake forwards create chaos. 66% said yes, and the remaining 34 said no, they don't think fake forwards are responsible to create chaos in the society. People said that we asked people if they checked whether the sign that many times forwarded. People, 88% said that yes, they checked that sign. Others said that they don't, and sometimes they do. We asked people that do you think if we need stricter laws or punishments related to the fake forwards. 64% said yes, they think that stricter laws are important. Only 6% said no, and 30% were not so sure, so they said maybe. Please change the slide. We also asked them if they know fact-checking websites like Alt News or Webbook. only 14% people said that they knew such websites, and 86% said no, they had no idea about this. We also asked, other than WhatsApp, which platforms they considered responsible for spread of fake news. Facebook topped the chart with 86%, followed by Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We asked, if not WhatsApp, what other app they like to use for communication, for the purpose of communication, for the purpose of daily communication. For example, they said Telegram and others like Signal and Signal, etc. 78% people said that they would prefer Telegram because it's an upcoming and has more privacy policies. Please change the slide. We showed people a few messages in which we had also included fake forwards, and we told them to identify these fake forwards. 70% people were able to identify if the messages were fake or not. Only 30% people were confused if these things are fake or not. Please change the slide. So our overview was, most of the people were aware that there's a concept called fake news and it creates chaos. Majority of people were women in our data. For our observation, they said that they were part of more than 10 groups, but they barely read the forwards in the first place. The ones who did, they did realize that these are fake forwards, so they stopped the flow of or the bandwagon, and they didn't forward these messages. And a few of them said that they also educated others regarding the same and told that not to forward. But there were a few chunk of people who blindly forwarded these messages because things were going parallelly in real time, and they felt that they were obliged to send these messages ahead. And we also asked what they think can be done regarding this issue. People said that they feel WhatsApp should come up with better policies and should come with stricter policies, and they should ban the messages which are reported as fake news, so that people don't become purposefully or unknowingly don't become a part of this toxic bandwagon. Please forward. So the conclusion that we came up with was people are aware, especially the people of our generation are aware that uh, these WhatsApp messages are fake in nature. The awareness is between medium to high. A lot of people need to be educated about not blindly forwarding a message they receive from someone they personally know, and they should fact check. Most of the people should be made aware of the fact checking websites as well, and WhatsApp should come up with policies, with stricter policies, because they should also be considered accountable for being a platform for spreading fake news. And knowledge regarding this matter continues to remain a work in progress, but the progress is surely a slow yet steady one. So 10 years ago, people were less aware of these forwards being so chaotic in nature, but today people are aware. The limitations of our research was that because of this COVID pandemic, we couldn't do quantitative research, and we stuck with qualitative research, which didn't allow us to go in depth in nature. And because of the quantitative analysis, we weren't assured that the evidence we received for the data were genuine in nature. The research, yeah. Can you change the slide? So the further scope, there are a few legal things that are in today's political year. India has more of a domestic misinformation problem, unlike USA, where the problem is more of the world scenario. But in India, majority of political parties, the health sectors, they some unknowingly or knowingly they do create fake forwards, to create chaos in our country. There was an act in that's IT Act, which said that these information should be taken care of, but giving they said that it was unconstitutional to stop messages, because everybody has a right to bring their message forward. So this act was not clearly defined, but in 2018 a draft rule was proposed by the government that seek to curtail the misuse of social networks and increase accountability. We should give more chance to this draft to come into the picture, because if legally we can stop the spread of fake news, it will be easier for us, to curb the problem. This is the so thank you. I want all. Yeah, we're done, ma'am.
Okay. Meenakshi ma'am, quick feedback.
Yeah. So, Dhruvi and Dhanashri, my immediate question is: you've done a qualitative analysis, am I right?
No, ma'am, quantitative.
You've
We
done a
wanted
quantitative.
qualitative as well, but we couldn't.
Okay. So, how many people have you surveyed in this particular topic?
100.
Okay. So, your study shows that people were already aware that the news that they or whatever information they are receiving is fake. How did they rectify that? How did they find that out? It's not rectify, ratify, sorry.
Yeah, because most of our participants were of our generation, who are students and who are young, so they were aware that these things can create problem. The ones who were in the older generation, were more vulnerable to these fake messages, and they were the one who said that they unknowingly might have spread fake information, and they were the ones who couldn't identify, couldn't differentiate between fake and real news when we presented them with some pictures.
So how does your generation ratify this information? How do you guys ratify this information that a particular is fake or not?
They read a few news articles beforehand only, so they were quite aware that okay, the thing which is coming on is quite nuisance. It was quite a somebody who is educated will definitely know that these things are completely nuisance.
Ma'am, adding to that, so there are various websites available known as AltLive, Boom, Webcoof. These are the websites that burst hoaxes around such messages. So if there is some message that is being forwarded relentlessly without checking its facts, we can go on to such websites and check whether, because they have such articles in which they have told about what is fake and what is right. So we can just go there and make sure that whatever we are forwarding is fake or not.
Okay, great. So I am glad that you guys are sort of not blindly, believing whatever is coming the way. I mean, what did you guys also do any kind of content analysis of any set of messages that you all have, sort of seen on WhatsApp, and then looked for some keywords that were really floating around, especially during the pandemic?
So, ma'am, basically what happens is on WhatsApp, whatever is the current issue going on, the messages which are forwarded are the same as that. So whenever there is corona pandemic, the messages were related to that only. So the keyword is basically what is going on currently in the society. Recently there was some talks about United Nations. So there was a message that was forwarded that our national anthem was selected as the best national anthem by UN, which was totally wrong. But it's just all about what is going on in the current affairs. Things related to that is only forwarded on WhatsApp.
Okay. Yes. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, guys. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, we are going to the next participant, Akansha Jain and Suhashi Mehta. Akansha Jain and Suhashi, I have made you all the presenters. Kindly stick to the timing, okay? That is not more than 10 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see my slides?
Yeah.
Akansha, we
can just make it full screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So our research paper was on a study on youth's obsession over their social appearance, specifically on Instagram. So introducing our topic, in today's world, the majority of young adults and teenagers like us have their hands on smartphones all the time, and they're exposed to social media almost constantly. This study focuses on the impact of likes one receives and their obsessing behavior over their appearance on Instagram. In literature review for social appearance, in the research paper by Jasmine Fardowli in 2018, before posting images on Instagram, individuals edit their images and thus create an idealized and acceptable version of themselves. For the same, they use their apps and filters to create their image picture perfect. Research has also shown that such exposure can lead to body dissatisfaction and negative body image. Now, talking about influencers and their appearance, research has shown that they tend to attract large follower base by posting images that indicate luxurious lifestyle. These influencers generally post thin ideal bodies that are most associated with negative body image in women. Now, likes and followers, according to Bharucha's research paper in 2017, the constant habit to check the number of likes leads to fluctuations in the level of self-esteem. Participants reported that receiving a like on their content made them feel better and was associated with boosting their social status. This in the long run kept them marooned in the virtual world and losing contact with their real life. Now, talking about fear of missing out, which is FOMO, refers to pervasive apprehension that others might be having a rewarding experience from which one is absent. Teenagers felt that they were missing out on picture perfect lives others portrayed through social media and thus having a desire to stay continuously up to date what others are doing. Also, majority of respondents admitted to project exaggerated lives to get more likes and followers. So, depression and loneliness as a consequence, audience constantly feel that they are being watched and evaluated and tend to become obsessed with their appearance. The heightened feeling of increasing recognition on social media guides self-worth and self-esteem. Also, seeing others having a good and perfect lives creates self-doubt, which leads to inferiority complex. Now talking about methodology. For this research comprises both quantitative as well as qualitative means. Participants were interviewed in order to get a deeper understanding about the topic, which is a qualitative research method. For quantitative method, survey was conducted online, having more than 100 respondents. Even Likert scale was used for the formation of this questionnaires. So the research question and the hypothesis. Our research question was whether Instagram users compare themselves in regards to the weight of social feedback they receive, which is social validation. We had two hypotheses. One being constant exposure to various features on Instagram, which leads to excessive obsession among the youth. Uh, our hypothesis two was the increased obsession for Instagram among teens and their online presence leads to dependence on the number of likes they get for gauging self-worth as well as self-esteem. Now I would like my partner Suashi to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Akansha. So I'll be talking about the qualitative research, where these were the questions we asked regarding the app, about their self appearance, the self esteem, and like Instagram detox, which do people have they do practice, and about the new feature which Instagram has recently introduced to the app, and the social validation. So coming to the first question about self appearance, so we interviewed seven people, and this is what the respond was. So 6 out of 7 respondents told, like, they agreed that yes, self appearance is an important matter when it comes to Instagram. It does create people to showcase their best of self. So it is becoming a major, maybe a part which they need to consider when it comes to their social appearance. Coming to the second question regarding affect the self esteem, so the majority answer we received was in the favor of this question. And they also said that it also depends on what type of content we follow, as Instagram is a vast user based platform. So there are different content available, and people consume different type of content. So coming to the Instagram detox, yes, 4 out of 7 people do follow. They believe in Instagram detox, and they usually practice it by either logging off the app, or they delete the app during the weekends, or if they have any get together. So they do believe in enjoying the moment or live the moment. And coming to what is your say on Instagram, the reel content. So reels is the new feature. People do enjoy, like, they enjoy the reel content, but some also claim that the reels content are quite clingy and cliche, and it becomes a repetitive after a certain point of time. Coming to the last question, do you think Instagram validation is important? So yes, 6 out of 7 people agreed that validation is important for them. It also makes it tells them, like, they feel that social validation, it makes them feel accepted in the society, and the validation gives them a certain type of indirect confidence. Next. coming to the quantitative research, so we have narrowed down our questions to due to the time constraint. So coming like talking about the behavior and studying their behavior, we asked few questions where when it comes to the uploading their pictures on Instagram, so whether they apply a filter, they prefer to use filter. So it's a very mixed answer. Sometimes they do prefer, sometimes they do prefer to post the raw photos which they have, and sometimes they want a picture perfect look as well. When after posting their posts, there are coming to the next question, when they have already posted their photos, there it makes them tempt to check whether they have received the number of likes which they have which they were expected. And it also makes them believe that if they are like if the number of likes are more than expected, they feel happy and they feel gratified by it. They feel acknowledged enough and they feel so like they want to know that what people think about them. So that's why, as you can see, majority of them do go and check back whether they have received the number of likes or not. Coming to the next question about the checking their feed while they are at work or at college. So Instagram does tempt them to while go through their feed. If they have any notification coming from Instagram, they might even go and check maybe for 5-10 minutes, but they will go through and like check their feed, or what's the response, and they'll reply to it instantly. Next are the three series of questions where we had given them a photo of a makeup look and no makeup look, where we can see like most of them agreed, they accepted the no makeup look. They liked, they did not wanted always the filtered image, or they had to be picture perfect. They liked the rawness and they accepted that no makeup look. Next. These were the Likert scale based questions, where number 1 stands for strongly disagree and number 5 stands for strongly agree. So the first question was, do you think Instagram has an influence on your mind? So yes, almost 55% of them agreed that Instagram does influence their mind in regards to the content they are consuming. And somewhere they do feel that it gives them those ideas of when it comes to trends, so they always want to keep up with it. But coming to the second question, like when it comes to coming to peer pressure, to be always updated or not. So for them, most of them disagreed that they do not feel a peer pressure on it. But when it comes to their own self, they sometimes do feel to be updated. So that's why they do get influence when it comes to Instagram. Coming to our analysis, so we saw a difference of opinion when it came to uploading about the picture and liking others picture. So as we had asked about whether they use filters or not, so sometimes they want to look, sometimes they do use the filters to be picture perfect. But when it comes to liking, they like the raw photos more than the makeup look. So that is a bit of conflict when it comes to there, and they do get vulnerable to social validation. So that's why when it comes to their own posting, they prefer to put up a filtered image. Also talking about an influencer, Larissa Disa, who created a woke up like this filter, where the filter makes your cheeks go pink, and it has a lipstick and good eyebrows and everything. But whereas we all know that whenever in the morning we wake up, we don't look like a fresh like flower or something. We don't look like that. It's always a bit we are a bit tired or whatever. So woke up like this filter is totally unreal. And despite of people disagreeing to the peer pressure and not being updated on Instagram or anything, but it indicates that certainly direct or indirectly the platform caused them to necessary platform makes them influenced, and they have realized that they do get influenced by them. Lastly, coming to the conclusion, so of course young adults are very much active on the social media platform. They especially the social networking sites create a gratification for them, and they also depend on the number of likes they get on Instagram for their self-worth and introspecting them. And social validation from people through the platform makes our hypothesis of this research stand out true. And also, like talking about the scope, this research will help the marketers and the psychologists to get to know about the psyche of their audience, and to make, like, for especially for the marketers, to make a pitch perfect product launch for their targeted audience. So this is our survey. Thank you so much.
Yes, over to you, Meenakshi ma'am.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting study. How many of you saw that there were selfies that were, being put up? So were you looking at selfies, or were you looking at photographs, that people had posted were clicked by somebody else? What is the scene currently in your generation?
So it is mostly now, like coming to, having a picture perfect look. So they always want to be clicked by somebody else. So they either, like, if friends go hang around, so they ask their friends to, click a picture of them. Or when it comes to like a group photo or something, so if they cannot find a person near around, they try to put up a, selfie. They try to take a group selfie or something like that. So it's
Okay,
mixed.
Okay, so basically the selfie rage is over. Can I say that statement? Can I give that statement?
To some extent, yes, 75% of, at least in the younger generation, the selfie thing is over. Yes, it is.
Okay, so how many people have you surveyed or asked questions to?
So, coming to the quantitative survey, we have surveyed 102 people, and coming to the qualitative one, we had interviewed 7 people for the questions.
Okay, so any particular themes were emerging, and who are these 7 people? Can you please describe the demographic?
Okay, so these 7 people were like our age only. They were ranged from as 16 to 25 or 30ish. And yeah, so these were college going students and like people who have initially started their career. So yeah, these were the demographics.
Okay, and the survey also consisted of the similar age group?
So no, the survey had, like, our age group was from the age of 16 to 35.
To 35. Okay.
Yes.
So which age group reflected these views more that your findings suggest?
Mostly the age group from 20 to 25 was the majority of the age group which had such reviews regarding, their appearance and the self-esteem when it comes to Instagram.
Very interesting. So the pout look is over. Am I right?
Yes, it is.
Thank
It is
God.
over.
Thank God. So we teachers will not be looking at pouted images on your WhatsApp anymore, right? When you all messages or anything.
No, you will not.
Okay, thank you so much. Very interesting study, and I think you guys should just keep doing such more of these studies because it reveals a lot about yourselves, and you are going to be the future marketers, and then see the amount of data you're getting. So the advantage of doing research is right in front of you, correct?
Yes, for sure.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, students. Now we go on to Dr. Harjinder Kaur. Ma'am, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just a second.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. 1 second. The students who have completed the presentation, kindly lower your hand. Ma'am, I'm sharing the screen for you. All right, just let me know whether you are able to see it. Is it visible, ma'am, to you?
Yes, ma'am. It's okay. Shall I start? Shall I
Yes, you
start,
can
ma'am?
start. Ma'am, can you stick to 7 minutes of time because we have to take a lunch break also at around 1:30.
Okay, I will try.
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Harjinder Kaur, Assistant Professor of Khalsa College of Education, Ranjit Avenue, Amritsar. I would like to thank you for giving me such a present opportunity. And here is the content of today's topic. Ma'am, please change the slide. Yes. Next slide, ma'am, please.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. For both students and tutors, modern education is more immersive, interesting, personalized, and affordable. It is more tailored to the needs, learning habits, and desires of students. The world of modern education has fundamentally changed as a result of online education. We are learning in a modern, more fluid world. This thrives with possibilities for students of all kinds. Online learning has been getting increasingly popular over the years, but it is especially relevant now in the times of COVID-19. The trends in online teaching for 2020 will boost students' creativity and engagement even more
मैंने एक
than
सब्जी
before.
बना दी है और आटा भी.
Ma'am, please next slide.
Sorry.
There are There are many online programs that have been developed to help students keep up with their studies. For that, several government initiatives launched to spread digital literacy in India, such as e-Basta, e-education, MOOCs, then Nandgarh's Swayam MOOCs courses in this, and India Skills Online. Clearly, government initiatives contribute significantly to the benefits of online education. Ma'am, please, next slide. Next, I would like to discuss the term pedagogy. Pedagogy is the most commonly understood approach to teaching. It applies to both learning theory and practice. It can be defined as the art of teaching. It involves being able to convey knowledge and skills in the ways that student can understand, remember, and apply. Uh, there are some trends in it. These are a move to open up learning, making it more accessible and flexible. Next is an increased sharing of power between the instructor and the student. A greater
Ma'am, your voice is lagging.
technology
Harjinder
to
ma'am,
provide
Harjinder ma'am, your voice
instruction
is lagging.
as well as to encourage and assist students and to provide new ways of student. Now it is okay. Ma'am, is
Harjinder
it
ma'am,
okay
you
now?
can. Yeah, it is okay now. But in case the voice lags, you can switch off the video and continue your presentation. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. I okay. Just wait. Okay. It is important to emphasize these emerging pedagogical trends. More experience, evaluation, and research are needed to identify those that will have lasting value and a permanent effect on the system. Please, next slide, ma'am. After that, I would like to discuss about online learning. Online learning is facilitated and supported through the use of information and communication technology. Online learning can cover a spectrum of activities from supported learning to blended learning to learning that is entirely online. Online learning can be defined as learning take place partially or entirely over the internet. According to Collins, online education is defined as the creation and proliferation of the personal computer, the globalization of ideas and other human acts, and the use of technology is exchanging ideas and providing access to more people. Audio, video, computer, and networking technologies are often combined to create a multi-faced, uh, multifaceted instructional delivery system. The fundamental method to unite the distance learning instructor with the distance learner is the network. Networks suitable for distance learning implementation include satellite, cable modem, digital subscriber lines, and wireless cables. Next, here are some pros of e-learning. Ma'am, please next slide. Pros of e-learning. Students are unable to attend school or college due to COVID-19 pandemic. They continue to learn despite the circumstances. Because of the e-learning option, this was possible. Next is due to a shortage of services, a few girl children and differently abled children do not attend schools or colleges. For them, e-learning is the godsend. E-learning allows for greater versatility. We will listen to any class that we missed later. If students don't understand the concepts, they can go over the lesson again. Lastly, teachers may use animations or other technologies to illustrate concepts in e-learning or online learning so that students understand them more clearly. Next is challenges of e-learning. Students will not only study the subject in the classroom, but will also, ma'am, please show the next slide, but will also engage with other students and make friends. The classroom has an effect on students' overall personality and growth. Students' eyes can be strained due to their repeated exposure to screen. It is the next challenge. And next is with e-learning, teachers cannot be able to devote so much time to each student as they would in the classroom. Next, the classroom atmosphere is vibrant in nature, while listening to lectures on a tablet or mobile would be monotonous. Even in the 21st century, some people do not have access to the internet. E learning cannot instill the same level of seriousness as traditional classroom learning. Not all parents are technologically savvy enough to assist their children in the event of a problem. Lastly, students can become distracted if the computer has other apps installed such as YouTube. Several students are now addicted to their smartphones. As a result, parents could be reluctant to leave their children unattended. Next comes to online teaching. Please, ma'am, next slide. Online teaching has become a hot trend in recent times. An online teaching experience, unlike a traditional classroom experience, comprises of a number of computer-assisted teaching procedures involving.
Harjinder, ma'am, can you go a bit fast, please?
Okay, ma'am. Yeah. Uh, Procedures involving some
Whatever
computer.
are the important points of your research, ma'am,
Okay,
just
ma'am, I will
mention
discuss.
that. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, only that. Before we discuss the benefits of online teaching, let's discuss the two broad categories of types of online teaching. These are synchronous and next is asynchronous. Benefits of uh, teaching online. Next slide, ma'am, please. There are some benefits also. First is increased flexibility of time due to shortage of time, ma'am. Just I am saying the points only. Next is increased flexibility of location, context, then information sharing, online resources. Next is diverse and enriching experiences. Next is assess equality and disability. Next, digital information literacy. Lastly, administration. Here are some challenges faced in teaching as online instructor and some useful instructional strategies used by the teachers. Challenges are passive students, stay connected with students, encouraging collaboration, and lastly, the strategies or technique, the pedagogical technique employed in online learning, or what teaching techniques should teachers used in online learning are optimize students. And please, next slide, please. I forget to say. Optimize student engagement and success. Next is foster interaction between student and content, other students, teachers, and outside experts. Facilitate learning through providing intellectual stimulations, salient questions, ethical options, and resources for future inquiry. Offer ways to sort out, recognize, and enhance students' unique qualities, interests, and skills. Lastly, allow for critical and reflective thinking, real world application of concepts and skills, as well as encourage additional dialogue and seeking of assistance. Last slide, ma'am. At the end, I would like to conclude by saying that online teaching and learning are relatively new. It is exploding in recent years as an option in colleges and universities. Most universities and colleges agree that online education is critical to their long-term strategy. Online courses are best thought what they are engineered to take advantage of the learning opportunities afforded by online technologies as the demand for online education by those who have jobs and require lifelong education increases. There are more and more expectations on the implementation of on teaching and learning system. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Meenakshi ma'am, any words?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, madam, I would like to understand that what method have you used to, sort of arrive at whatever data that you've shared with us?
Ma'am, techniques, I think online there are so many courses like MOOCs or Swayam or eBasta, ePathshala, where we get all the subjects or courses and every student can take advantage of it.
Okay, so this is a review of these various, secondary data which you have presented. Am I right?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, so have you listed down what were the sites that you have taken these literature review from?
Yes, ma'am. I have all the references from which, if you say, then I will send it.
Yeah, you could just read out now what were the sources that you've taken these literature review data from?
Yeah, ma'am. First is it is 2020 e-learning pros and challenges. It is taken from website group discussion, and next is so many references or books or articles. I can say from where I got the data. Ma'am, I have to mention the sites also turn-wise.
Ideally, in your methodology, you should explain because even we use systematic literature review as part of a method, and there are different ways. In fact, secondary data is used as a method for study, but it has to be clearly mentioned that what is the sample size and how many, in what was the way in which you had searched the data, which was a source, which all that has to be explained. That's why I was asking you that question.
Yeah, ma'am, I understand. It is theoretical paper.
No, that's fine. That is absolutely fine. That it can be a theoretical paper, but then the methodology also in that has to be clearly mentioned. That is why I was asking you that question.
Okay, ma'am. I will take care in future, ma'am.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Okay, now, Angel ma'am, I hope you can hear me out. Can you share the screen? I have made you the presenter.
I will share, ma'am.
Yes, you can share. Actually, you were the first participant, but you were not there in the meeting. So that's the reason we went ahead with the other participants. No problem. You please share the screen. Yeah. Now you can share, ma'am. I have stopped the screen share.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, last presentations.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, I start the program.
Yes, yeah. Please start. Please start.
Ma'am, I am Angel Pelsi, studying in Scott Christian College, Nagarkoil in Kanyakumari district. Now I am going to PowerPoint presentations. My topic, online learning, pedagogy needs of the education and community. Introductions, educational institution closed, online education, history of online learning, pedagogy, suggestions, fundamental characteristics. The entire world has seen the drastic upside down changes of the in all discipline in your 2020 for month of March. The upside changes has very much affected the educational sector too. All the education institutions were closed due to the pandemic situations. In midst of the situation, educational institutions found out of new pathway to to reach students with online teaching, the students and scholar with the motivating learning, the virtual learning. Then the online educations. The online learning emerged in the 1982 when the Western Behavioral Sciences Institute of La Jolla, California opened the School of Management of Strategic Studies. The school employed computer conferencing and delivery the distance education program to business executive. In 1989, the University of Phoenix began offering education program through the internet. Then the third one, the history of online learning. The pedagogy encouraged students to critically examine their assumptions, grapples with the social issues and engaging in the social actions. Then the pedagogy. The 5 suggestions of the preparing the online environment, transferring the pedagogy. The first one, to create a safe of inviting environment. Second one, to encouraging the student to think about the experience, belief and basis. Third one, use teaching strategies that promote students' engagement and the participations. Then fourth one, post real world program and the address of social inequalities. Fifth one, the help students implement actions and orientations of the solutions. Then the fundamental characteristics, that is, there are 4 fundamental characteristics they may assess with the success of online instructions. First one, the learner should be actively engaged throughout the course. Second one, group participations can assess with meaning course of objectives. Third one, frequent students and the students, teachers of interaction can elective feeling of isolations. Next, fourth one, the course contents should related to the real words of enhanced meaning for the participations. The next is last slide. The methodology. The discrete study is purely based on the structure. Google form is generated and circulated among the research scholars in Marthondam towns of Kanyakumari district in Tamil Nadu. Next slide, sample. The scholar who responsible and why Google forms are 118. Hence, the sample populations for the study was finalized as 118. The structured questions in a Google form included questions is related to the device the scholar used for online pedagogy classes and preferred approaches of learning during pandemic period and the problem faced by the scholar due to the online learning. Next, the devices used by scholars. The devices used, the figure 1, the above table graph depict the most of the research scholars are using mobile phone to attend online pedagogy classes. The 67% predict the performance approach learning the pandemic period. Then next, preference approaches. The preference approaches, mobile phone, laptop, desktop, and the tables. And the predict the performance approaches learning and during the pandemic period. Next, the problem faced by the scholars. The problem faced, the difference in the problems faced by the scholar. The scholar feel that most of the time they encounter technical issues during online sections with a mean score of 4.116, which was followed by poor internet connectivity in their area with a mean score of 3.789. 985. And then another factors was great distractions, which was because of the device they are using the online sections in the from the mobile phones with a means of score 3.718. The problem faced by the scholars are to encounter technical issues, poor internet connectivity in the area, getting distractions, no practical sections during online classes, the quality of the course modules in Medicure, poor time management, laziness to attend classes, dimensed social aspect, lack of teachers and scholar relationship, lack of competitive literature. The above tables is very clearly and they show the reflections and feelings the scholars towards the major problems they come assess during the pedagogy sections. The scholar feel that most of time then encounter technical issues and during the sections with the means of score 4.116, which was followed by poor internet connectivity in their area with a means score of 3.785, and then another factors was great distractions, which was because of device they are using for online sections, that is mobile phone with a mean score 3.718. Finally, conclusions. In this present day, the online learning has become everyone part and parcels of their life. As a pandemic situation is still existing, proper steps it should be taken by the Ministry of Education, all the state government to stabilize the online learning process. In order to keep up the education system, the educational institution should strive their best to give their best to the learning community to generate healthy and potential young minds. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, over to you, Meenakshi, ma'am.
Okay, could you please explain me which part of the demographics have you spoken to for the survey? Can you explain the demographics?
Demography means the methodology
The sample.
is the primary data and
the sampling. I mean to say the sampling. Can you please explain your sampling? Who are the people and how did you reach out?
Random sampling, ma'am.
Okay, and how did you reach out to them? And how did you decide whom are you going to be speaking to?
The Google form, ma'am.
Okay, no, I'm talking about the people. How did you reach out to them using the Google form? How did you decide whom are you going to speak to?
Online, ma'am. Online.
No, ma'am. She is asking, how did you select your people? Like, आप ningal eppadi choose pannil? That is what she is asking.
So research scholars is select the Kanyakumari in the district, ma'am, in Martanda.
Okay.
Students, research scholars.
Okay. So, did you find any challenges while doing this study? I mean, talking in terms of internet connectivity. I mean, was it easy or difficult reaching out to them? How easy or difficult was it?
Yes, ma'am. The internet connection, ma'am, using the fiber opticals and connecting the one can everyone gets them.
Okay, fine. No worries. Thank you so much.
Okay,
ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Now, my presentation, Meenakshi, ma'am. This is the last presentation of this track.
Okay.
Do tell me if the screen is visible, students. Any one of you all can tell me.
Abhi tak to nahi.
Can you see? All right, I'll just switch on my camera. Yeah. So, the screen is visible, right, ma'am?
Yeah, it is.
All right. So this is a study of Bollywood film trailers, a multimodal approach. So I'll be explaining what entirely the entire research is all about. As we all know that movie trailers are one of the important marketing tools, okay, because you want the people to come to the theaters or to visit your OTT platforms, because today, like since last 1 year, we have seen that OTT platforms have developing like anything. In fact, when there were lockdown, which was called out during the pandemic, we had seen that trailers were being released, but we were not going to a traditional theater to watch the movie, but we were actually going to several OTT platforms. Nonetheless, the trailer mechanism has not reduced. We can see that trailers are being made for original Netflix films, or probably for films that are being released on OTT platforms as well as the theaters. Okay, how many people are actually going to the theaters is a question mark for sure, because that is not my research all about. My research is basically understanding what all exists in a particular trailer, what do people like, and what are the different modes which are used while formulating a trailer. So so there is a journey that has gone, that earlier we used to see trailers only at the theaters. Okay, so there used to be a typical film that would be showcased along with, so before the film starts, screening, you had a particular slot of time where the trailers were being shown. Also, when there would be an interval time, there would be trailers which used to be shown. So these were the typical time period where the trailers were being screened. Apart from that, now what has happened is, now trailers, I'm saying even in television, yes, trailers are released, but more than trailers, it is like the teaser version, which is a shorter version. And since 2000, early forms of 2000, in fact, if I have done content analysis, I can see that right from maybe 2000, 2010 around, we have seen a boom that has come on digital media where YouTube has played a big role. Now, there are several research papers that I've cited, and what do they do? In a trailer, you will see there's a lot of use of different modes, like you have sound, you have voiceover, you have narration, you have music, you have graphics, you have editing, you have a montage kind of a sequence. Generally, trailers are lesser than 2 minutes to 30 seconds, but this particular research paper that I have cited is talking about a traditional international film. But if we look at a Hindi film, a Bollywood film per se, if you look at a trailer, it is generally ranging anywhere between 2 minutes 30 seconds to anywhere between even 4 minutes. Sometimes it extends because you generally want to showcase everything at one go, and that's the reason. And we have we ensure that we use all the elements which are there in the film in order to make people come to the theaters. That is how it is. There are a lot of literature reviews that I've cited in my in my research paper. But for the presentation, I'll be talking about what is multimodality. Multimodal method basically use different modes in order to communicate. So traditionally, if you look at a trailer, you will have the production which is has produced the film, the name of the producers, the directors. You also have a voiceover. It could be a voiceover, like a particular artist who is doing a voiceover. It could be a character narration also. It could be there is also use of background music. There is a lot of use of sound effects. Right, so it is overall, it is like an amalgamation of a lot of things, and that's the reason this was very interesting for me to study. In fact, film trailers are called as paratext, metatext of the textual film. Now, to be very honest, film is not a text in the textual way. It is a visual text, and it is a kind of a model of a film. Like, for example, if we say that if we want to construct a building, we have a blueprint which is ready. So trailer is like that. Trailer is like a blueprint that it is trying to tell us what is going to be expected out of the film. Now, what does it try to establish? So it establishes different things. It establishes shots. It establishes the mise scene, that is the entire setup. The sound, that is also very, very important. And so I'll quickly, I will skip all this because I want to actually talk about my research per se. So only a particular thing that I want to tell is there's something called as digestive context and there is non-digestive. Now, what is the digestive context is? use of visuals, verbal information, which is integrated. Important integrated part of the film is diegetic context. So people, giving out dialogues, certain establishment of certain event, like for example, a wedding or probably a kind of a function that is happening because it is a part of that film story. So that is diegetic. The sounds belonging to the film narrative, the original film narrative, that will be diegetic. But apart from that, there is a lot of other things which we don't pay heed, but they are also there. Like for example, the name, definitely the title of the film is very important. So you don't know that there are also a lot of small things that are played into as far as the titling of the film is also concerned. Right, for example, if I offhand I can say like Bajirao Mastani. In Bajirao Mastani, you had bloodshot, the kind of blood stains on Bajirao, which was very interesting. So that is also communicating certain message to us. Similarly, the names of the directors, the film companies, the actor, date of release, website addresses, voiceover narration, in the sense which is not pertaining to that particular film as a whole, but it is added later on because you want to make it as a trailer. Yeah. Now, what is the research question? Which Hindi film trailers were found to be effective among college students? Now, for this particular, this is a research question. Now, I have applied 2 different methodologies. I'll be talking about them. Between 2015 and 2020, because I've taken into consideration only the trailers between 2015 and 20 because of time constraints. Objectives is to understand Hindi film trailers which were released between 2015 2020 and their mode of communication which was found to be effective, to identify whether audio or visual was more effective in communicating the film concept among the college students. So these are 2 hypotheses. One is star-studded Hindi film trailers have got higher mean score than content-driven films, whereas the alternate is saying that the star-studded Hindi film trailers as well as the content-driven films have got a mean score that is high. These are the 2 methods that I've applied. One is qualitative as well as quantitative. In qualitative research methodology, what I've done is I've used content analysis. So, but I have not taken all the film trailers. Although my the year that I'm, because I can't practically, it's very difficult to see all the trailers. So I have taken only top 4 grossing Hindi films, film trailers from 2015 to 2020. So they were analyzed on the basis of visuals, background music, sound effects, interstitials. What are interstitials? Basically, they are the texts which are also a part of the trailer, and the narration. And the quantitative research, thanks to the very strong student community that we have of UPG college. So my quantitative research was pertaining to BMM per se students, BMM and MAMS students ranging between the age group of 17 and 25. So they were actually practically shown the 24 film trailers, and after seeing the trailers, they had to answer the questionnaire which was given through the online Google form, and the sample size was 103 students. Okay. So what was in the content analysis? A very, very interesting aspects. I understood that, apart from the interstitials, which are always there, interstitials are the text which talks about the, basically the production house, the producer, the directors, the writers, the production house, the studio, the date of release. In fact, there are also texts which are written, which tries to tell you things about that this director has produced a series of, award-winning films, or all that is also integrated into a trailer. Okay. Along with that, I have also, in the content analysis, I also try to understand how is the visual aspect built up in the trailer. What is the mise en scene? Whether it is going along with the storyline? How is the story built up? Is it interesting enough? This is my observational skills as far as content analysis is concerned. Right from, have they been used vocals, background music, theme film music? Okay, and is there any specific effect which has been used for the titling of the film? And also, how effective were the dialogues, and also I have studied these symbols that have been used. For example, I would like to pinpoint, there were some films which got released in during a festival, like for example, a Diwali, like Prem Ratan Dhan Payo was released in Diwali. So there was a symbolic communication that there were shots which were purposely shot which talked about Diwali. Similarly, there for Bajrangi Bhaijaan, and they wanted to establish the fact that it is all about harmony and peace, and how this Bajrangi is trying to help that particular girl who is missing reach out back to Pakistan. So there were very small symbolic representation of Pakistan, symbolic representation with the help of use of Pakistan flag, symbolic representation with the use of Hinduism, symbolic representation with the use of namaz being offered, pertaining to the Muslim culture. So all of this, I'll be probably going next for the content analysis. This is basically, I have used the SPSS software in order to find out the mean score. Now, this is basically every trailer that the students watched. They had to talk about the visual aspect, the music aspect, the sound effects, and the narration aspect. Right, so they had to give. So there was a score between 1 to 5. Now, actually, when I circulated the form, I had given not at all, which was 1, to definitely yes, which was a 5 rating for that particular trailer for one particular variable, that is visuals. So similarly, I did the same for all the other variables, that is visuals, music, sound effects, and the narration. So if you see a Bajrangi Bhaijaan, which is a top grosser, when I circulated, I asked the college students which is considered to be top grossing, but that was not, I didn't speak to them that this is the top grossing, so try to evaluate, because that will be very biased kind of question. So I asked them, what do you feel about the trailer? So only as far as music, they found that it is 4 out of 5, whereas the other aspects, they found it close to 3.5 and above, right? Now, overall, if you see in 2015, it was Bajirao Mastani, which got a thumping majority. You can see that for all the aspects, all the parameters, we had more than close to 4.3 to 4.5, which is very, very extraordinarily good. So it is for 2015. To 2016, we had Dangal film, which was the top grosser then. And they did, students did recognize that it was quite effective as far as visual, music, sound, and the overall narration is concerned. Right. But what is surprising to me is, apart from Dangal, there was MS Dhoni, The Untold Story, okay, which was Sushant Singh. They also found that as far as all the parameters are concerned, it is quite above 4, which is good. All right. It is a content-driven film. More so, it is not like a very big mega star as far as the film is concerned. But yes, there was also maybe one of the reasons that the student voted is there's a huge fan following for Sushant Singh. That could be one of the reasons also. And unfortunately, he's no more. So, there's a huge fan following for him. So that could be also one of the hidden factors behind them voting for this particular film. 2017, we had Secret Superstar, which was the top grosser. Surprisingly, it did not receive a mean of more than 4. All right. Only what is interesting, just a second. Sorry, I missed a point. That what is interesting is it's a trailer. It is a story about a girl who wants to make it big in the in her singing career. So definitely, as far as music is concerned, they have voted it. But as far as the overall visual aspect, narration, and all is concerned, it is close to 3.5 only. Hindi medium, which is again a content-driven film. Is in 2017, we did not have any trailer getting a mean 4 for all the parameters, and it was only Hindi medium which got very close to 4 mean, wherein the music was given 4, which is very surprising for me over the other elements. All right, then is Padmavat, which is for 2018, has scored again an SLB film, because you generally find his trailers having a mixed bag, a very balanced mixed bag of visuals, music, sound, as well as narration, and that is what the students have voted out. Andhadhun, again a content-driven film. has scored a 4 mean, again the same year, that is 2018, which is interesting that apart from a SLB film, you also had a content-driven film like Andhadhun, scoring close to more than 4, basically on all parameters. 2019, there was only one film which got 4 mean score for all the parameters, which was Woody film. It is interesting to note that that again, this is not like a mega star kind of a thing, but yet this particular film did got overall parameters. Right. Just a second, ma'am. And in Tanaji, this is the only film in 2020 which got close to a 4 only in one category, which is visuals. If you can see, the trailer has used lot of visuals which was pertaining, like establishing things the way SLB does in his films, although it is not a traditional SLB, that is Sanjay Leela Bhansali film. Right. So I go on to the findings. So I can say that the alternate hypothesis holds true, because here we can see that as far as the star-studded film trailers has got a mean score of more than 4, along with content-driven films, right? Because they have scored overall for the parameters of visuals, music, sound effects, and narration. All right, so the roadmap. Now, I have just looked at particular trailers of 2015 to 2020. Probably you can do something related or research on the user engagement and trailers. Although we don't know whether it is organic or inorganic in nature, we don't know, because most of the, in fact, when we had a guest session with the digital marketing head also, he said that we generally buy, by the likes and comments on the YouTube platform. So trailers and digital integration, probably we can look at trailers and genres to understand genres, which particular genre has got more information or more traction from the young audience, or probably from different age groups. Color psychology can definitely be studied in film trailers, although I didn't have time for studying that. And trailers, especially during COVID era, can be studied. Semiotics in film trailers can also be studied. Yes, ma'am, done.
Okay, very, very, very exhaustive presentation, Geeta. My only one question, I'm very curious. What is that one thing that catches the eye of the audience when it comes to trailers? That one thing, is it the sound? Is it the what they see it immediately? What catches attention?
Ma'am, it catches attention for how long are you talking about, or you're talking about as an integration, totally overall. Overall, we can't give any one particular parameter. There is, all the parameters work together as a holistic approach. No one parameter holds out. If the visuals are excellent, but the sound is not great, it is not going to help that particular trailer. Similarly, if the dialogues, whatever you have used in a trailer, if it's too cliched or too boring, probably it will not drive the audience. Similarly, what kind of genre it is, that is also very important.
Okay. So when I immediately start watching a trailer, there won't be anything which catches my attention first. So there won't be any. Okay.
No,
Okay.
Definitely sound, I'm sure it does, but then for that I might need to understand how do I actually do a test that way, because it will require something very technical oriented, or probably understanding like probably a proctored programming kind of a thing, wherein I actually see how much focus of attention I'm giving to the trailer, probably do an eye track movement kind of a study.
Possibly. So I think it could be with the title or the director or the actor. Ye teen cheez could also play a major role in for me to even go and see the trailer. Am I right?
Yeah, of course. See, there are a lot of things. In fact, I had done this online. I generally teach film communication for the SY students. So I generally offhand ask them also. So most of them say that it's about the story, it's about the narration, it's about maybe the director. So each one has a different preference. But then for me, that is not important. For me, what is important is, as far as my study is concerned, because I was pertaining to the already established trailers, that I wanted to know where are they, which particular parameter works for them after viewing. because if you look at a trailer, when they are trying to build a trailer, there are a lot of strategies that they will use in order to market the particular film. And I feel that you can't hold out one particular parameter, that's for sure. But I'm sure that in soon enough, if we are going to be stuck with the digital medium for a long period of time, especially during the lockdown and all of that, then I'm sure that there will be different data collection can be possible, probably through different softwares, different programs that could give more data as to how many people are actually paying attention for how long. To be honest, ma'am, if you look at a YouTube video, nobody watches a particular video more than 1 minute, 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. That's about it.
Yeah, true.
And a
Very
trailer
true.
is more than 2 to 4 minutes, anywhere between 2 to 4 minutes.
So that
So
has
that
to
is
be
also
something that stops your attention, So that's why I was
correct.
kind of curious.
Correct.
But it's
But
a
I
very
can't
very
offhand give
interesting
you the
study. I know, I
ma'am,
get
but
it.
yeah, I can't give you an answer for this because I myself don't know.
No, but it's such an interesting study. Maybe in the future you can, if you're going to be looking more into this. I mean, you don't know what all you'll find even more, na? Maybe some technologies that help you what that
Yeah.
query is there in our heads,
Correct,
Okay,
correct. Ma'am,
great.
this technology is going to be there for sure. I'm sure.
Absolutely. Great.
Yep.
Absolutely
All
true.
right, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for being, there for us and being there for this entire technical session, which was New Media and Miscellaneous, Meenakshi ma'am. We are very humbled that you were there throughout the entire technical session, providing insightful information to all the research scholars, the students, everybody. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. It was my pleasure to hear to so many different kinds of research. I think it enriched my knowledge too in a lot of areas. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Geeta, for calling me.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Now, all the research scholars, please kindly, we will begin the inaugural meeting soon. So you can join the session, which is compulsory. Probably at around 2 o'clock, we will start the session, right? Okay.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Geeta. Sure.
Thank you, ma'am.